Uranus transit the moon by conjunction, opposition or square, which happens quite rarely, once in 20, 21 or 2 years. It's a very important transit, one which will really change your life and one which you will remember. And usually the period starts a few months before Uranus transits the moon for the first time, the first hit, and continues for about 1 year, sometimes a little bit less, a little bit longer, sometimes depending when the last hit of Uranus transited is, and usually a few months even after that you might feel it. So I would give approximately 1 year on average of the duration of this process happening. And it is extremely important transit because the moon is one of the most important planets in the horoscope. The moon, first of all, represents your emotions. So what is happening, whatever Uranus touches during this transit, Uranus is touching the moon, it wants to totally change your emotional inner world, your personal private inner world. And Uranus usually does this by bringing big changes in your personal life. The moon rules family, home, mother, your private life. So in any of these you can expect big changes happening, maybe relocation, maybe your relationship with your close one and family is being shaken a bit, because Uranus is a planet which brings sudden surprises and big shifts of the layers, and shocking things usually which come very quickly and unexpectedly. Also your private life, moon also rules attachments, emotional attachment. So often when Uranus comes and affects the moon, big changes in emotional relationships happen, especially if you're a man. Your relationship with women, because moon rules women, can be strongly affected. And if a relationship is not strong enough, quite a few people from your life can disappear during this period. You might cut the relationship from your side, or life can take those people away from you. Those emotional connections which are no longer supportive of your true identity, of your true self, of your true authentic self, if they're no longer supportive, they will go away during Uranus. A relationship can be tested, and other close emotional relationships, not only a love relationship, it can be a relationship of any nature with close ones, loved ones, family ones in particular, because the moon rules family as well. And if these relationships are tested or shaken a bit, sudden unexpected changes happening in the lives of those people that affect you as well. And if these relationships are supportive of your authentic self, well, they will survive this transit. If not, very often they might be suddenly interrupted. And also the moon represents for the women in particular the hormones and the female health. So women, especially above a certain age, after 35, 40, they should check themselves if they start feeling not so well, if they start having hormonal disbalances, because Uranus can bring this, the hormones going wild over the limits or under the limits, over or under the average, and the body starting to give certain changes, or you can just start feeling in your body, never mind if you're a man or a woman, like feelings of electricity passing through your body, because Uranus is connected with electricity, and the moon rules the body. The moon is one of the planets which very much rules your overall health. So all of a sudden you might feel like restless, like bolts of energy and electricity coming into you, and you become much more sensitive to other energies, and especially to the more psychic energy. And this is also very nervous. The moon rules also nervous receptivity, so you become very nervous and sometimes restless. Even people start having difficulty sleeping, they start dreaming, their sleep patterns are interrupted or disrupted, and they start having very intense big dreams, or very unusual dreams, like calamities and big waves or big dramatic catastrophes in their dreams. The imagination goes much wilder than normal, and the body, as we said, might become much more receptive to psychic influences as well. The body and the subconscious, because the moon rules also the subconscious, so the imagination and the intuitive side of person become much more increase during this period. Some people who have psychic inclinations can even start having such phenomenal experiences, like visions, like hearing, like uh, you know, flashes of intuition and the communications with higher worlds. Those of you who don't believe in these things, even they can happen for them. I've seen people who have spiritual awakenings when Uranus transits the moon, because the body becomes receptive to those higher vibrations, and the person starts, opening up to much more unusual and more finer energies than other times. And some people might even think they're going mad if they're not familiar with spiritual ideas and processes, and they might thinking that they're going sick, or some women might start thinking they're getting into menopause. Even if they're young, they start getting weird symptoms of their body. And actually what the body is happening is it's attuning itself to the higher vibrations of Uranus, which are very much like electricity, and electricity runs through you. And Uranus wants to bring new changes into life, and in particular changes in your emotional nature, and this can really affect you on many levels. And it can have also, as we said, physical influence. And the moon also rules your habits and the things that you do automatically and routinely. And Uranus would really want to disrupt and change that. So it can be a great time for stopping old bad habits. All of a sudden, Uranus can make it very quick for you to stop it, you wake up one morning and you say, well, that's it, I no longer want to smoke. Or you might be used to running every morning for years, and when Uranus comes, and all of a sudden you absolutely have no desire to get out of bed and go running. So your daily routines and things that you do normally and that you're used to, and habits, whether good and bad, can be very disruptive. But when you know that the spirit is coming, you can use it to get rid of the bad habits and to try and acquire some new habits, because now you're much more open to incorporating new routines into yourself. This is once in a lifetime opportunity to break through from old patterns and move to a more authentic habits and daily routines and patterns of behavior. As we said, the whole person is changing. The body, the health can be affected as well. And after that, it all subsides after about a year, about that time. The moon also rules your emotional satisfaction, feeling of happiness, how well you feel, how emotionally content and settled you feel within yourself. And when Uranus comes, this feeling of settlement and contentment disappears, is disrupted. So you start feeling restless, you want to change in yourself. You start being dissatisfied, and you almost become like a rebel. So people might even give an outcry towards you that you're behaving crazily or wildly or too much frivolously and willfully. And, they can be surprised by this behavior. So maybe you can do it a bit more gently, but Uranus usually brings those changes very suddenly, and the person all of a sudden wants to behave in ways they've never done, to have lifestyles they've never have, to have habits they've never had before, to have freedom they've never had. Uranus is the planet of liberation. It wants to liberate you from a lot of things that the moon is associated with: old habits, old emotional habits, old physical habits, old perceptions about yourself and about the world. It wants to make a total breakthrough in your consciousness, especially in your private inner world. So many things can happen. Nothing can be pinned down in particular, because moon rules so many things in the person. But big changes happen. The personality comes out completely transformed on the other edge, much more liberated, and you might feel even like throwing off some old responsibilities and acting out much more. But sometimes people are resisting the change that Uranus wants to bring into the life, and they resist, and usually they might attract these changes from the outside by other people in their life that give them security, people that they're used to having in their life to give them emotional security. These people can start acting out instead and behaving wildly. If the person is resisting this within themselves, as we said, he will or she will attract it from outside. So you can have, like, if you're married, your spouse might start acting out really wildly when you're having this transit, and you start feeling upset that your daily routines and your emotional peace of mind is being disturbed, all things that moon rules. Also, I've seen many people relocate because the moon rules the personal life and the places of living, and they start having a strong desire to move to a new place, or if it's not a strong desire, somehow life make circumstances in such a way that they have to relocate, so a big breakthrough happens in your life through change of place of living, through change of your personality, change of even physical health, change of emotional attachments, and also the mood swings can be extremely wild because Uranus like a sudden AC/DC energy, like a shot of electricity through you, and the moon rules emotions. So in one moment you might be at top of the world, and the next moment you might be wallowing in pity, and you might act a bit crazy, not a bit unstable emotionally at moments. It doesn't have to be so extreme, but definitely I have seen that up and down, like roller coaster emotionally a bit. And so be careful how you act out emotionally if you don't want to intimidate and to threaten certain relationships or to threaten certain situations in your life. But Uranus comes there for a reason, because you have to shake off some things which are no longer necessary. And yeah, I think I said almost everything. Please, any of you, share what you have noticed happening when Uranus was transiting your moon, what emotional events were happening in your life that are very changing big. Also, often infatuations in relationship can happen, especially for men, because moon rules feminine energy. But for women, I've also seen it when Uranus comes, hit the moon, people fall in and out of love very quickly. Very quick infatuations happen, emotional attachment. For instance, you might all of a sudden lose feeling for your current partner and get infatuated very quickly with another person, or you might get infatuated with 2 or 3 different persons in consequence within 1 year, and it might be a bit hard for those relationships to be stable while Uranus is around. Life settles down only after Uranus passes away uh, in a transit. And as I said, please share what happened in your life. It cannot be predicted what will happen exactly. I can just tell you some of the symptoms that come when Uranus hits the moon, so you're prepared. And the outcome depends on the overall horoscope. But if everyone is welcome to share their story and to add something more, because I'm sure I haven't mentioned everything. And you can contribute to helping others as well by giving your own side of the story.